Today is Monday, January 22nd, 2024. This is the most recent Miles's Monthly Monday Memo. It is a beautiful rainy day outside in Berkeley, and I'm going to roll a d12 to see how long I'm going to talk to you for. That's a 9. Add a 1, make it a 10. So, can you spend 10 minutes with me? If not, I understand. I have already begun my day walking my son to the bus stop, as I do most weekday mornings. Both my kids take the same bus, but their buses leave an hour apart. So the big kid gets up real early, same as me, to catch a 7 o'clock bus. And then me and the kindergartner leave the house. The middle schooler goes to the bus by himself, and me and my kindergartner leave the house at about 10 past 8. So I walk him to the bus, I walk home, and I've already gotten almost a mile of steps before 9 a.m. And on a day like today, when it's raining, I wear my water shoes and carry an umbrella, and I come home with roses in my cheeks, and if I'm being honest, having worked up a little bit of a sweat already. There's a lot of hills where I live here in Berkeley. But that's just to sort of set the scene. I mean, there's no doubt that although this project, this monthly Monday Memo with Miles, is embarked upon with the zeal and enthusiasm of new year, new beginnings, excited to start, what I hope is a long run of sharing audio memos with you. Despite the eagerness and the zeal, the burning zeal that fueled my wish to start this podcast. Oops, I gave away the game. To start this practice is what I meant to say. In spite of the burning zeal, I cannot deny the cloudy, rainy, wet, overcast energy. The water that surrounds me now, both puddled on the ground and coming from the sky and dripping off the redwood trees, it does not dampen my zeal, but I would not be representing myself honestly if I didn't say that there's big hibernation energy in our house right now here in Berkeley. And that's okay. I love being sensitive to the environment, and I love discovering what's the right fit. Talking about New Year. So, okay, we're going to talk about New Year a little bit longer. We're going to talk about failure, and then we'll see where we are. Look at that. I just laid an agenda on you almost 3 minutes into the memo. Okay. So we were talking about New Year, and although February is right around the corner, knocking on the door, ushering in the farewell to the first month of this new year, I have a New Year's practice that I got from my wife's cousin, Lark. And if you have seen me do my keynote, play this talk, the talk that's a game, the game that's a talk, I've talked about my wife's cousin, Lark. I married into being in Lark's family, and I think I'm a pretty interesting person. I've had some interesting experiences, but Lark just might be the most interesting person I know. And I have told him I sometimes feel like a supporting character in the story of Lark's life. I learned from Lark a practice where at the beginning of the new year, you can choose a word and have that word be sort of your leitmotif, your theme, a word to sum up what you're hoping to bring to the year. And so in years past, I have chosen words such as grit. One year I chose music, which, could be considered a little bit of a cop-out because, everybody loves music. Although I will point out you have selected a voice recording with no music to pass these 10 minutes. Could have listened to a very long Dave Matthews Band jam during that time. Who am I kidding? A medium long Dave Matthews Band jam is 10 minutes. But, I was like, at the time, I will say, I had been listening to a lot of podcasts the year that I selected music. And both of my children were practicing instruments. And I was like, you know what? This year for my theme, I just want to be sensitive to the music that's around me. I want to welcome music in, and I want to notice it during this year. And then, one of my all-time favorites was I picked the word fit. Not about getting fit. I hear that's great. But more about finding something that's a fit, because my whole deal is, if it's not a fit, I don't want to make it fit. So I'm all about finding what's the right fit. In my business, when I talk to clients who are looking for team building services, they have a problem that they're trying to solve. And I know my offerings really well. I know the team building games that Wise Guys events can deliver. I know which ones can be customized. I know what's a fit for inside, for outside, for people who love games, and for people who don't. But the client knows the group. They know who's going to be participating. They know what activity the group did the year before or the year before that, or if this is the first time they've ever done a team building game. And they know if the group is local or international. So I always say, you tell me about the group, tell me what I should know about the goals for the gathering, and I will try to tell you how we can be the fit that we're looking for. And although I'm the head honcho of the company, and also the director of sales among the many hats I wear, and although I want to get as many qualified leads into the pipeline as I can, I don't want to make it fit if it's not a fit. So if a client is asking for something that we can't provide, I will be straightforward about it. Anyway, so I think that hibernating feelings and cuddling up with sweaters, robes, and blankets just feels like the fit for where we are right now. Maybe where you are, January is looking very different. Maybe you're listening to this memo in some spring month, and what feels like a fit is peeling off your socks and shoes and going out to make a flower crown. I would wish for you a fit befitting the sound of my voice in this memo. All right, I got about a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes left. And I want to talk to you about another F word. Not that one, and not February, and not fit, but failing. I was talking about the different offerings, and I teach a workshop called Improvisation for Professionals. And if you've taken this workshop, or if you've heard me talk about it, then you've heard me say that despite having improvisation in the name, the aim of the workshop, it's not about putting on a skit or coming up with something clever to say, but rather about how can we take the tools that improvisers have in their toolbox and use them to make ourselves a more robust, well-rounded team in the workplace. And some of the tools that we talk about are profound listening like a thief, as I sometimes say, to hear a twig snap outside. How do we get on the same page in a hurry? And how do we push past the fear of failing? Because failing, which gets a bad rap, and deservedly so, it doesn't feel good to fail in most instances. And in an organization, failing can cost money, and it can cost time that you can't get back, the resource that doesn't go back, and it can cost jobs. Nobody's excited about failing, but it's inevitable. And fear of failing is a huge bottleneck for a lot of organizations. How does this organization look at failing is a question I often ask when I'm starting with a new group. And they usually look at their feet, another F word. Anyway, I come in to people I've never met before in a room that I've never been in before, and I talk a big game about failing. It has lots of positive benefits. But I don't always take my own medicine, because the truth is this is my second monthly memo, and my attempt to record and distribute the first one was a big failure. I put it where nobody could find it, in a Dropbox folder, linked in a Google Doc with a LinkedIn post. It was absurd. So I failed. But despite the urge to just cuddle up and hibernate, I'm giving it another go. And I guess that's grit. For as surely as G follows F in the alphabet, we have the choice to follow our quest for a fit and apply our grit. I'll do this again next month. Thanks, everybody.